Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Happens for a Reason podcast. So today I have Stephen with me.
I haven't been briefed on what I'm going to be asked today, so this might be very interesting.
I'm gonna keep it professional, Stephen. Okay,
For once.
For once, exactly. But the reason I've got Stephen on board today is because he is a professional photographer, or he calls himself that anyway. Fitness photographer. Do you still do weddings?
I've came away from them.
How come?
I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. Like, it was fine getting booked. It was fine doing them, but I don't know. It just, there's not the same sort of buzz as I get out of going to do the fitness stuff every day.
Yeah.
So I just decided last year just to come back and just, if I get booked, I get booked, but it's someone that I know or it's family. So I can't do it anymore. I don't feel like I am a wedding photographer. So there's no point me trying to be.
Yeah, so you're only doing fitness shoots now?
Only fitness.
Amazing. And if we rewind it back, how did you actually start with fitness photo shoots?
2012. I was...
Jesus, I was a baby.
You were only a wee young thing.
Oh, baby.
And now you're like, what, 55?
25, halfway to 50. It's getting hard now, Stephen.
No, I was asked by a guy locally to come and take photographs for him for his transformation shoots, and I'd never shot fitness in my life, never shot anything in my life except maybe pets or something really random, and he just gave me a stab and just said, "Steve, come along, take some shots, see how you get on," and next thing somebody else wanted to book off the back of that, and then another person, and I think it got to the stage where I was like, I'm going to have to maybe learn how to do this properly and how to, I guess, like, start to really look into what equipment I was using and not just wing it.
Yeah.
I guess it was a hobby and it has always been a hobby, but I still had to try and had to try and treat it like it was a real job as well, because people were willing to pay you to do their service. So I could not just turn up and be like, sure, I'll just click a few buttons and it's going to turn out right. So I had to really just sit down and try and knuckle down as to, I need to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you in a different job field at the time, or did you always do photography?
I always wanted to be an architect.
Oh, shut up.
So was
you as an architect?
What's wrong with that?
Can't see it.
For everybody listening, Aiste always takes the piss out of me. So, don't
Do you blame me, though?
Don't give her any hate, because she gives me a lot of stick.
Just give him hate.
No, I always wanted to be an architect and always wanted to draw houses. Like, I was always sketching things. I was always drawing, and got into university. Did my first 2 years in my degree, and it just wasn't what it was made out to be.
Yeah.
For me, I loved the practical side of it, but it was just so airy-fairy, and there was people in your class that was designing things that just was never going to work. And I liked things that work. I like things, if you design something, well, this has to do what it's meant to do. So I was a wee bit disappointed with it, and I got offered a job in an engineering firm to do CAD work, which I was familiar with doing. So I kind of was like, do I want to do 7 years in university and come out and regret the last 7 years of my life being wasted? Well, I don't mean wasted, but I guess if I wasn't feeling it then, would I come out totally in debt and not realising I should have just made the decision years ago? So I took the job and just worked my way through the business up to as far as I could get, and went from CAD engineering to project management to directorship in 9.5 years. And then because the architecture had a photography element with it, I did, obviously, the photography thing kind of like kicked off at the same time. So I did it at weekends,
Okay.
nighttime, and burnt out about 10 times, probably a year, trying to like combine the two. And then December 2020, I just got let off and just went balls deep.
COVID.
It was great. Best thing ever.
Isn't it funny how it works out? Because you probably wouldn't have left from that security yourself.
Nope.
You would have
I
said.
always was like a play it safe person, and I wanted to leave. I had everything in place to leave. I had myself prepared, right? If I can equivalent, if I can get an equivalent salary out of my photography business than what I'm getting in my main job, well, there's no reason why I can't just jump and make it work, but I didn't. So I clinged on and thought I could do a Superman stunt and do both at the same time all the time. So things give, and but at the same time I don't regret not jumping, because whenever COVID happened, I had both still to give me security. Because whenever COVID happened, there obviously was months of, oh my God, I don't have any photo shoots to do. So I was still fit to be employed by where I was working at originally. And then whenever lockdowns opened up, the shoots then happened. So I was fit to juggle the two at the same time. But no, I got laid off at the right time, and I would not go back. Not yet anyway, but...
No, you'll not go back now.
Not until I retire.
You're not going to go back when you retire.
Don't know. Although there is something to be said of, like, you do be a little bit envious of people who have that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
100%. And I completely agree with that. But I think there's two ways you can look at it. You know, you do choose your own hours, but it's a tendency of when you're self-employed, you take all of them.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And anybody pushing the whole, like, 4-hour work week, 5-hour work week is
bullshit.
There's no such thing.
No, of course not. It's absolute bullshit, especially when you're solo. Like, you're the only one running your business, unless you hire little mini Stevens and grow your brand that way. Like, it's you.
How scary would that be?
It was so scary.
No, but like I've toyed with the idea of employing, but I don't really want to.
And do you think it comes down to, because you know that people that are coming to shoot with you are coming to shoot with you? Mm-hmm. Is that authenticity?
I guess the biggest issue now is because the whole fitness industry and everything around it is, once you get pushed to the limits of your capabilities, you have to now expand, grow a team.
Yeah.
Now, it's maybe different for coaches. You can develop that team and grow that way. But I think whenever it comes to like what I do, I feel if I employed someone else to do what I do, well then I'm doing every single one of my clients a disservice, because they were coming to shoot with me.
Yeah.
And that's not to be pig-headed or try and feel like, well, I don't think I could teach someone to be as good as me, because I'm not. But I think I would rather curtail it just to me and do as much as I can do. For me, I'm not trying to grow a 7-figure business or trying to grow a big massive corporation. It's not me. I don't want to build a team where I just come in and delegate every day. That's not me. I would rather go and do the work. If I do it wrong, it's my fault. But I'm less likely to let something go wrong because it's my own business.
Yeah, of course.
Where I worked before, I was managing a team of engineers, and it's hard. Even if you're trying to have a day off, you're still managing people.
Yeah.
And I think, and I totally understand that anybody that works for someone is always trying to benefit themselves. So you take on someone, you always run the risk. If I teach them everything, do they jump ship? Do they disregard, your own
Brand.
your own feelings
Yeah.
and your own personality to the business? Now, don't get me wrong. I know you've expanded your own team.
No, but I'm about to agree with you. Yeah,
But
100%.
there's always, from always being pessimistic, there's always them downsides, and it's very, very hard to get someone that goes, I'm all in your business and I
Yeah.
will do leaps and bounds. Because I was like that in the business that I worked in. I would have did everything. I never asked for a pay rise in the whole time that I was there. And honestly, I guess I just got shat on from day dot. So looking back now, I can see why people follow their own career and they follow their own path, because that's what we're designed to do. But for me now, looking back, I wish I was a wee bit more of me rather than doing it for
everybody else. Exactly. And I think in a big corporate company like that, you're just a number. You're there to do the job, but the responsibility ends up falling on you, especially if you were the manager and you were delegating everything. Everyone that was listening to you, everything they did wrong, it falls back on you, that sort of way. And yeah, the one thing that I've learned from hiring people and having a team is you have to trust them. Like, because I would, you know what I'm like, I'm OCD as ever. Like, I was trying to build mini Aistes, like, do this, you need to think like this, you need to do it this way. And yes, that's okay to a certain extent because they're working under my brand and essentially it's my name that's getting tarnished, but they're never going to be me. And I just have to accept that. Do you know what I mean? I can do like my best in teaching them in the way I want my business run, but they're still going to be their own person. And I think you will struggle with accepting that.
Well, I think we're so protective over our own work.
Of course.
And it's hard. I always struggle letting people go and do things themselves because they used to always do it wrong.
Yeah.
And I guess where I got always into issues where I used to work was I try to do everything myself. But that's me. I guess that's just in me. So I would much rather just sit back and go, okay, I'm not hiring. I'm just going to be the business. The business is just me now. I guess the only risk is if something happened to me, touch wood, that I break a leg
Touch
or
your head.
hit my head, or there's nothing in there
Touch
to
wood.
hit. And if something happened, like what I do, but
Yeah.
I guess I'll deal with that whenever it happens. But no, I've looked at it so many times, and I found myself, no, I just can't. I can't deal with feeling that people are booking in just to come in and get
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Of course. And I think your field is very different in terms of that. Do you know what I mean? Because you are known for your work, and you versus another photographer, as much as they try to copy what you do or vice versa, they're never going to be the same. Do you know what I mean? So even you coming on and training somebody how to do that, like, they're still never going to do it the way you would do it, and people will be able to see that, or they might come in and do it better than you.
Possibly. That's, and they're within their right to try to be better. I think
there's no one better than you, don't worry.
No, but here there always is always going to be someone better. No matter what, no matter what you do, you'll look at someone else and be like, that.
I wish I was doing that. Yeah, of course.
And you'll find yourself examining what they're doing and trying to implement that yourself. And that's what that's just in our nature every day, to try and get better. Every day is still a school day. I'm sure you probably have clients that come and sign up and they have an issue or some
100%.
problem that you've never had before, and you have to go away and research it or ask someone. There's no two clients the same, no matter what.
100%, and I couldn't agree more with that. Like, every day is a school day, and you're learning every day, whether that's as a photographer, as a coach, or even as a business owner. there's always going to be something that you have to, go away and do your research, because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck and you're never going to get better.
We're just never happy.
Proud but never satisfied.
Never. But then you've come leaps and bounds from where you started.
100%. And same goes to you, Stephen, you know. And I was doing the podcast earlier and I was actually talking about this. You don't, like, when you own a business, you don't look where you're at present, like in the present. You look, okay, what's next? Where am I going to be this time next year? What do I need to do? Until you actually reflect. And I'm like, okay, I've actually done okay. Do you know what I mean? Like 2020, Aiste, yeah, you remember her? She's dead.
More than okay.
Yeah.
Like, if I still remember doing your very first shoot, and you were only PTing maybe a year or two at that stage. And I remember you asking me that you would love to start doing online stuff. And
shit, no way.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You were still doing one-to-ones, but then I think you would have loved to try doing a bit of online. And I think I said this to someone a while back, that one person that no matter what has always asked me advice and listened has been you.
Really?
Because you were, honestly, a lot of people would ask advice about certain things, but never actually listen and go, okay, maybe I could try that.
Yeah.
You have always, from day one, no matter who you ask, you've always sat down and took it on board and asked questions. And that, like, from where you started to where you're at now is
polar opposite.
Night and day.
100%. And yeah, I agree with that. But I think for myself, like, I loved working in the gym. Like, I did. And I missed the one-to-one from time to time, but that just wasn't for me. Like, I knew that there was more, and I knew that I was just more than a PT in Dungannon. You know, that's right. And I don't mean that in a cocky way or nothing like that. Not at all, because like I said, I miss it and I loved it, but I knew I could help more people. And I also knew that I wanted to move away. And I always said that from the get-go. There was just a stall in the system.
But like I've said to you before, though, those initial years of you coaching on the floor do put you amongst, you know, that higher tier coach compared to those who maybe haven't coached on the floor.
Oh, of course.
I not to diss anybody going straight into coaching, but I do always think you have to do that time on the floor just to be with the person, know how to move, just how to interact.
100%.
It's one of them things, I think no matter what you do, unless you can deal with people in person, you'll never be fit to deal with them interactively online.
Yeah.
Without just being there and done the groundwork. But like for how much you have come from day one has been, and I tell everybody about it. It's like
thank you,
proud
Stephen.
dad moment. But you've did all of the groundwork. You've started from the ground up, and you've had a lot of shit in the middle of it.
Blips. Whoopsies.
But that has been the making of you.
100%. And this is the thing, like, looking back over that time, like, I regret nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I completely agree with you from the personal training standpoint. Online coaches that are just jumping onto online, you're not going to do that well. Like, you have to have that. Don't get me wrong, not everybody. Some people will smash it, of course. But I know most of my knowledge I got from like a gym perspective. It's from coaching people in the gym, having those conversations, and even down to silly things like programming, like knowing what weight to set a beginner at. I wouldn't have known that without working with people in the gym. You can just set random numbers online, you know, but yeah, like I did. I feel like I took all the right steps to sort of like work my way up, but I feel like at the minute I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, what's next? So now I'm getting a team. Am I retiring?
No. What do you see? Where do you see yourself going from now?
Don't ask me my 5-year plan, okay? I don't know where I see myself next week.
Well, you've created a business. You've now a team. You have moved locations. So, like, you're not. I know 100% from day one you're not money orientated. And that's not what drives you. in the slightest. So there's something else, but I don't know what it is.
You know, funny you said that, because no, money was never my motivating.
Money what?
Motivation.
Motivation.
Fuck off. Motivating. My motivating factor, it never ever was. I think for me it was always just passion. Like, I know I wanted to grow my business for the right reasons of like actually helping people. Do you know what I mean? But I think for me at the minute it is, I still definitely want to scale my brand, and I want more coaches on like working under the brand and that sort of thing, so I can take a step back from it to actually be more involved in the business rather than just check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is like what majority of my time's consumed by now.
The only thing is, once you do that, I don't think you'll be satisfied.
I don't think so either. I think I'll always love taking clients.
Yeah. You know, do you want to start going into the competitive route where you're...
Hell no.
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 But it's just to see, like, yes, you get bigger every time, but you like doing your check-ins as much as sometimes they probably get cumbersome. I think you like having control of your clients. So it's just where do you go from here? Because as I say, you're not figure driven. You never have. I've never once ever seen you be inclined that way or ever talk that way.
Yeah, because it's never been it for me. Like, yes, of course, the goal is to be financially free and everything else. Of course, that's why we all work. Do you know what I mean? But that was not my reason for ever starting coaching or moving online or anything like that. I think if you're only motivated by money, it's very short-lived, because you'll get your high and then the rest is going to be lows.
It doesn't bring happiness.
No.
And I've said it to so many people before that I see too many people jumping into this industry thinking of, I'm going to make X, this, that. And honestly, I'm like, you're going to face the wrath and the burden of it all very, very quick.
Of course.
Because I did it myself. There was a period where I was like, that's all I'm chasing. I'm chasing figures, thinking I need to hit a certain amount. So obviously this was whenever I was working and doing the photography at the side. So I was very much, right, I need to get the photography side of things meeting a certain level financially to get away from this secure financial channel. But it just burnt me so bad. And I think the very second I sat back and realised I need to stop chasing this, everything went so much better. The business went better. My mind was so much like clear, and the money come. And I don't want this to sound like it's all about money, but everything just fell into place so much better.
Of course, and I think that's because you didn't fixate solely on it, because I've been there as well. Like, I had a really, really good month and I hit my highest month yet. And then the next month I went back to normal and I was so disappointed. Then it was like the next month I'm like, I need to make more sales. I need to get more clients on. And I realised that's not what I'm doing it for. Like, I wasn't even being authentic to myself in terms of that. Like, yes, of course, I always want to be taking on new clients and helping new people, but I was more fixated on I need to hit that figure again rather than looking at it from the perspective of what am I actually going to do here to let my business grow. Do you know what I mean? And like you, I burnt out. I was like, it was 2 months in. I was like, what the fuck am I actually doing?
But then I think that's where the industry is where the flaws are falling into, where I have nothing against mentorships. I have absolutely nothing against any of that. I like the idea of it. I don't like the idea of people who have never done this industry before just thinking, I need to go and get a mentorship just to know what I'm doing straight away. I always think, test the water yourself and see what you cannot do, then ask for help.
100%.
But I honestly, everybody is jumping on mentorships right now because they feel like they need to. I know you've done it, and you probably still are, but that's because you've did as much as you can do, and you feel like, right, I maybe need that a little bit of extra guidance. But I find a lot of it's very figure driven, and it's very targeted on sales. It's never targeted on how to make coaching good.
Exactly.
And how to make things better.
Yeah.
And I'll hold my hands up. I've never joined a membership before. The only people I've asked actually for help is actually, I think I've even said to you some days, I'm like,
yeah, and I keep telling you, Stephen, put your fucking prices up.
But honestly, there's something to be said to sitting down to people that are working with you day after day and just saying, is there something I can do better? Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And let's face it, you'll always tell me what I'm doing wrong.
I'll always tell you.
But I think that's so much more valuable at times.
Of course, because it's feedback from, like, as much as we take the piss out of each other, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm your client at the end of the day too, you know, so you want feedback from your clients and people who have been working with you a long time. And yeah, everyone's that's listening is going to hate me for saying this, but yeah, Stephen needs to push his fucking prices up, so he does, because there's very limited photographers that do what he does, and he's undercharging, and then he burns himself out.
I can't help it. But
yes, you can.
But
change the first figure to a bigger figure.
I think for me, that to me, I guess I'm happy where I'm at from a cost perspective. Things have got so expensive lately, just life in general, and I think the last thing you want to do is push it too far that it, you know, the everyday person goes, I can't afford that. And one thing I've found massively is the large percentage of all my clientele are everyday Joes, people that a photo shoot's a big thing for them. That's a big milestone. And some people are putting every bit of spare savings that they have into this moment. And I think the last thing they need is someone like me going, I'm going to take advantage of this and, you know, push a little bit more out of them, just because I'm taking advantage of their the moment. I don't want to be that person. But
you wouldn't be that person, Stephen, because your empathetic self is looking at it from their perspective, yeah. But you need to think about how in demand you are, and you need to look after yourself, because if you keep taking on more shoots, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're not going to be showing up as the best version of Stephen the photographer.
Well, my secret is 2,500 milligrams of caffeine per day, and I avoids burnout.
It doesn't avoid burnout. It gives anxiety.
But you know,
is that why you're always like this here?
I always look like I'm coming off something.
Hyperventilating.
Someone says to me, "What do you ever take drugs?" And like, I don't need drugs.
No,
I have caffeine.
Just caffeine.
But like, I think that's where, again, another flaw of the industry, because there's so much demand automatically. And again, I'm looking at the flip side of what maybe the mentorships and all are maybe driving, where they'll say, if you're as busy as you can be, put your prices up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think naturally that's driven everything so expensive that it gets to the stage where the normal people that come through your door maybe can't afford it. And for me, I've seen so many people coming in to do their first shoot, i.e. like yourself, who would class a standard photo shoot as a very, very expensive product for them because they don't know what they can do with it. And a lot of them people come in, they do their first shoot and they go away and want to decide to do coaching.
Yeah.
Online coaching. And ultimately that person's maybe back 5 or 6 times over the next few years. And I would much rather be, I guess, affordable and have that person grow, come back because they know it's worthwhile and it's worth it, and they bring their own clients. Like,
yeah,
you did your first shoot and you've been working with me, 7 years?
You all right?
Sorry, I cramped my leg.
Cramp. Stephen, we have about 3 minutes left.
Sorry. No, the whole price thing. If I went home today and just decided I'm going to ramp everything up, like what good's that going to do me?
Yeah.
Like, I know people's idea of put your price up, work less, have more freedom. That's not me. I would rather work every minute of every day because I love it. I don't want to be that person who's taking advantage of the small person coming in that's been working a 9 to 5 for weeks on end doing overtime just to pay for their shoot.
Yeah, of course.
And that's just where I find the whole thing's going slightly wrong, because it's very much focused on, do coaching, you'll get 10k months, 20k months, 30. That's all well and good, but I don't. Coming from, I guess, growing up where money was not plentiful, and you were making ends meet. I maybe couldn't go on school trips because we couldn't afford it. I don't think that the industry where they're really, really pushing coaches to make 20, 50, 100k months and publicising it is nice to Jessica, who has just signed up with you, wanting to do 6 months coaching because she feels like she wants to get herself back to a confident state. I think, I don't know.
I agree, though. I completely agree. And with mentorship, you're completely right. People are starting online coaching businesses and jumping right into it. You do not need a mentorship from the get-go. You don't. If you're actually educated in regards to what you're doing, start with the basics and see what you're saying about sign up with me and I promise you a 6-figure business. Bullshit. Nobody can promise you that. Do you know what I mean? Your business falls back on you. So I invested in mentorship last June. It was in around summertime, and you know who I went with, and he's very, very well respected in the industry and has been in the industry for 15 plus years, and that's why I went with him. But it was because nothing was said about money. There was no I promise you'll be hitting 30k months, with 3 months of coaching. It wasn't nothing like that. It was very, very much so fixated on scaling your business. And for me, that's what I needed next. I was hitting that point of burnout. I couldn't take on any more clients. I was burning out with doing what I was doing. So me taking on a team was the best decision I've ever made. But if it wasn't for the mentorship, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. So they've definitely helped me in regards to growing my business. But there's no promises of this is how much money you're going to make, because how much money I'm going to make is going to depend on me as a saleswoman, as a businesswoman, and what I actually want for my business. Whereas a lot of these mentorships are, like you said, it's just sales. They forget about clients and the reasons behind coaching, because at that point, I don't just take on any clients anymore. I need to make sure we're a right fit, and I'm very, very grateful to be in a position where I can choose. But when you're starting off, you have to work with everybody to even figure out who you want to work with. And I think a lot of these mentorships just be any client's a client, it's cash. No, it takes away the passion from your job, and it's ripping people off.
A lot of times, anybody that you see has, promotes this big highfalutin lifestyle, you don't notice they're always selling all the time?
Yeah, of course.
Honestly, I guess I'm just very old school and old fashioned, but I think if you have returning clients and don't need to sell all the time, I think so they're coming for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've had clients in before that have been with big coaches, big brands, paying a lot of money per month for coaching, and they have said to me, Stephen, it's automated. I don't like it. There's no personal thing to it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they always end up going to the little coach that's doing online by themselves, that they can get more of them.
They get a personalised touch, and absolutely, and I don't believe in that. See, when all the automated systems sign up and you get a workout plan and everyone's getting the same thing, that's not coaching. That's you selling just a low ticket plan. That's all that is. So 100%. And people as a coach, you are your business, your personal, and same goes for you as a photographer. Most people come to you for your personality, not your work.
Do you know what way to take that?
I'm only joking.
You're shit, but you're a good crack.
Well, it's
basically.
not your personality actually, because your personality is shit, so it has to be your work. I'm only
Everybody heard
joking.
that.
Huh?
I hope everybody heard that.
Oh, trust me, they
I'm gonna
will.
Get a lawyer. Defamation.
I'll get to your lawyer first, Stephen. Don't worry.
Shit. But like, I don't know. It's one of them things. I see where everybody does things so badly wrong. Like, I don't know if it's just some sort of ADHD or something that I have, but I can see and write down a list of things that so many people are doing wrong every day.
Do you have a list on me?
No, you've actually done.
Fucking better not.
I don't mean to blow your head up, but you've done a lot of things right. You have started from the ground up, and it's, yes, it took 6, 7, 8 years, but everything has happened for a reason.
The name of the
That
podcast.
wasn't a plug in there, by the way, but everything has happened to you for a reason, and
Of course.
it hasn't just happened overnight. But look at where you've got to now, and everything. Looking back, as you said, you wouldn't change. There's a lot of people that try to fast track their business, try and earn X over 12 months, 24 months in coaching or fitness or photography, and think, I'm going to have this sussed in 2 years. It's not going to happen. Like,
there's been months I've made £400. Do you know what I mean? And that's the reality of it. And you're always going to get there. You're going to get, well, I hope I don't make £400, but starting off, that's where it was. And you have to build that up, But I feel like this podcast was just us slagging online coaches.
No. Here, to be fair, I don't think there's any such thing as, we're not trying to get at people that mentorships are wrong, that looking to earn 6 figures is wrong, because it's not. It's always really, really good. But I think for the normal person that is currently PTing right now, or some person that's maybe listening to this saying, I'd love to be able to have a photography business, but I don't know where to start. Just start. Just start and work it out. And if you need advice, or if you need guidance on something, just ask someone that you're working with. Sometimes, they have nearly as much knowledge or have encountered the same problems before.
100%. And I think a lot of people, especially around here, are too afraid to ask other people for help because, well, firstly, there is a lot of people that simply wouldn't help, but Stephen would.
I'm always happy to, like, been asked a question or give my 10 cents on something that could be wrong, but like, I hate to see someone feeling like, I'm stuck on how to move something forward. I'm going to just pay someone 10 grand just to tell me what to do.
Yeah, of course.
I've seen so many people go into debt, starting coaching, paying 5 or 6 grand to start a mentorship, when if they had just decided for 6 months, do you know what, I'm gonna just give this a go, and I'm gonna see how I want to do it. And it may not be the systems that everybody else is using, but it's their own way. They're comfortable with it. That's how I done it. I just winged it. I don't mean wing it as in just throw up everything in the air and see what sticks. I think use the process you want to do things. And I'm still trying to work out things as well. Still trying to edit, reply to messages, still trying to shoot, give everybody the same amount of Stephen that I give the first person in the morning. But I think if I didn't do a bit of everything and try and suss it all out, you just leave yourself incapable of being able to put your hands in all part of your business. Like, yes, there's things that you can't do, accountancy, things like that, but if you can do the majority of it, that you never know the day where you go, shit, the worst things happen, COVID's happened, I have to let all my team go, and I now have to do everything myself again. And I've seen that happen firsthand with the other business that I was working in. suddenly you lost a lot of cogs that did a lot of things that you took for granted. Now, luckily, I had always kept myself in with a lot of people in the business that I guess it kept my position secure because I knew how to do a lot of things. But there's a lot of people there that didn't. And suddenly it's like someone just cut off all your limbs. So I think it's good to be able to do everything in some shape or form. And
you learn as you go with that side of things as well, especially as a business owner. Like, you almost figure it out. If you want your passion to do well, you have to just figure it out as you go, you know.
It's not like you'd get tongue-tied.
It's not. It's really not. You make me nervous, Stephen.
It's all that motivation.
Motivation. That's my motivation.
Get that on a t-shirt.
But thank you so much, Stephen, for coming on and having this insightful chat with me. It was lovely to have you. And do you have any final words to say to everybody?
Just that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm proud of you too.
I'm very proud of how you've flourished.
Thank you. As much as I slag you, you know I'll always return to you anyway.
I know. You'll always be.
I'll always be there.
Bipolar.
Go fuck yourself. Anyways, thank you so much to everybody.
What a way to finish a podcast. Go fuck yourself.
And this elaborates. Fuck me. And this is how our conversations usually go. So thank you everybody for listening, and I'll see you all next Wednesday.